whistle anymore.
You're missing lunch all the time.
I am. For those that don't get that joke, it's a there in the small town that I live in. The lunch whistle normally goes off at noon, but for the last several months, it has not gone off, which has really thrown my middays off. We used to start this meeting to that lunch whistle. Okay, so jumping into it so that we have the full allotted amount of time for all of the stuff today. Um, y'all have already taken care of introducing yourselves. Is Michelle, were you able to identify a note taker earlier before I joined?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Failed to do that. If anyone would like to take notes for us today, you would be the note taker for the meeting and make those available that would go on our website or out to the presidents and advisors after the meeting.
Okay. If not, I will volunteer for Kelly to take those notes for us. Okay. I'm going to keep going just for the sake of time. Michelle, if you'll look out for the note taker in the chat for me, please. We do have quite a bit of stuff to go over today. A lot of it's going to focus on the annual meeting, as this is our last president's meeting before we launch. This is our last focused president's meeting before we launch into the annual meeting registration, which will open that first week of August. Our next president's meeting in July is the joint TMN Tuesday and president's meeting. So we will talk about some administrative things there, but since it's open for all master naturalists, it'll really cover the highlights, not the administrative kind of deep dive that we'll be doing today with y'all. So hopefully we can keep this to an hour for you guys today. All right, so kicking off, Michelle, you want to talk about governing documents updates?
Yes, so good news on the governing documents. All of our chapters have either adopted, which is the majority of the chapters, or there's just a few remaining chapters that are in the adoption process. So just some technical difficulties getting that done, but happy to report that everybody is either completed or in process to be completed on track. And so congratulations, everyone, and thank you for your diligence in doing that. And on the COH was a follow-up item, part of the entire process over the year. And many chapters, I think when I counted them up, there's about roughly half of our chapters have completed the COH process and adopted something. And then the rest of the chapters are working on it throughout this year or have a target of this year. And that was our request for the COH, is to at least get it updated by the end of the year. So again, thank you everyone for that too. We've been telling you about our 25th anniversary storytelling project, and this is something we started at the beginning of the year in our 25th anniversary year this year. We have several people. We have a story that is submitted at least once a week, if not more. So again, thank you to everybody who has taken the time or been interested to submit their story in our 25th anniversary storytelling project. And then also please let this serve as a reminder that we're always looking for more. So this is something we'll keep going throughout the year. We've been posting things on our social media and sharing everyone's story. And so we'd love to share yours too, and any of your members' stories. So please keep contributing and encourage members to contribute. And over the past month, these are just a couple of the stories that we've shared that have been shared out through our social media. So I see a question in the chat, can advisors contribute? Absolutely, this is for anybody. Anyone in the Master Naturalist program or supporting the Master Naturalist program. We'd love to have your story, hear your story, and share it.
Wonderful. And I dropped the link in the chat, but again, that link's also on all of the social media posts if you need help finding that.
Yeah, and a special thank you to everyone who's been sharing so far this year. So if we haven't got your story out yet, we will. So thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, running into TMN Tuesday. We're halfway through this year's TMN Tuesdays, and next month's is going to be out of this world. Pun intended. Our July 11th TMN Tuesday is that joint president's meeting and webinar event that we talked about. We'll focus in on the webinar content. Michelle and I will make a few administrative updates or kind of public announcements with the end of the presentation. I will tell you that we had a chance to talk through the topic with those speakers that are going to be joining us. We are lightly calling it NASA Globe Eclipse Oh My. It is going to probably run at about an hour and a half to a 2-hour TMN Tuesday next month. We've got 5 or 6 different speakers coming from across the country going to be talking on this webinar about the eclipse event in October, and then again in April, how to engage with the NASA programs, how to engage in citizen science programs alongside the eclipse, and then also how to view it safely. So this will be one to definitely join in on. Yes, and then Michelle and I will make that public announcement at the end with some of the president's meeting content about the annual meeting coming up, and so on. Anything to add there, Michelle?
Yeah, just a couple of to address it. After every TMN Tuesday, we always get the question, was this recorded? And yes, our TMN Tuesdays are always recorded. And if you can help share that information out to your members as well, those TMN Tuesdays are always recorded and then always posted to our website. We try to get them up the next day or soon after they process, but typically they're all on our website. You can link to them there, or they are on a YouTube playlist also. But the best place to find everything for this year is on our website at that same TMN Tuesdays link that I just dropped in the chat. So yeah, if you could help answer some of the frequently asked questions we get every month after every session. I missed it. I couldn't log in. Something came up. Is it recorded? So yes, they're always recorded.
Perfect. All right. Then into new training. So we've had this slide on this presentation a few months now, but we just want to remind our presidents and then ask you to communicate this with your new training class directors. We do have a site on our page on our website that has all of the 2023 training class information snippets. And there's an easy form that you can fill out on the bottom of that page that asks for training dates, cost, and information, so that we can collect that and post it to our website, help to share the word. This also helps when Michelle and I get those website-based questions, or we get those social media questions. When is the next training class for the closest chapter to me? She and I can grab that information quickly, drop it into those emails or into those responses, and provide those quick answers for folks looking to join your next class. So this is a great way to collect that information, but then also to share that in a quick and easy fashion.
Yeah, and just to reiterate that we're no longer using that as a seasonal approach for that. Like, we really want, if your chapter is holding a basic training anytime this year, and you know you have the information to populate the form at the bottom of that page, please enter that. Have your chapter or class leader, training class coordinator enter that information, and it'll be populated into the entire list of chapters that are training this year.
Yeah, especially when Michelle and I see that a training class just passed. So if we get one of those questions, when's the next training class for Galveston Bay area, who's seen here, we can say, well, they just passed their training season, but be sure to look for it next spring. Keeping all of that in a year-long format helps us to have that answer quickly. Michelle, you want to give the big welcome?
So some exciting news that's been kind of formulating over the past couple of months is we'd like to welcome our newest developing chapter. The chapter will be known as the Brush E-Canyons chapter. And that is That is correct. The name is correct. The chapter is based out of Uvalde. It will cover Kinney, Medina, and Uvalde counties. And they're currently accepting applications for their first class, which they're planning to start in late July. And the reason we mention this here is I know you may have friends or family in that area who may be interested in joining a chapter that's local to them. And so they are accepting applications right now. Their application process is all online. The link is there, and then I'll drop it in the chat as well. So if you have a friend or family member who's interested in joining the program in this area, please let them know. And just a fun fact, this is chapter number 49 for our program. So of active chapters, this is 49. So our program has developed more than 50 chapters over the course of its years. Some chapters have disbanded or gone by the wayside, but for active chapters, this will be number 49. So exciting stuff happening. And someone mentioned in the chat that this chapter is being spearheaded by local master naturalists who started and helped start the Lower Trinity Basin chapter. So Mickey and Valerie Reedus are great spearheads. They've moved to the Uvalde area and they're helping to start the chapter there. So lots of great interest in the local community for a new chapter. So excited to have them aboard. And leading into more training news, that I want to give a warm welcome to Wendy Anderson, who has joined our Texas Nature Checkers team as the other Texas Nature Checkers biologist. Wendy joined the team on April 1st, no fooling. She's a member of she is a Texas Master Naturalist member prior to joining the kind of greater Master Naturalist team, the Texas Nature Checkers team. She's a Capital Area chapter member. Many of you will know Wendy from her couple of presentations the past few years at the annual meeting, talking about the team tool, when she worked in the GIS lab, Wendy, what was the official name then of
a landscape ecology program at Texas Parks and Wildlife, yes.
And many of you know Wendy, and you know that she's passionate, exuberant, and just an all-around wonderful person. She's passionate about all things conservation. She has a special interest in grasslands, and in her previous position did a lot of work in the Panhandle of North Texas on mapping some of those grasslands. She's a professionally trained botanist. She studied biology, environmental science, and public affairs through her university training. And you probably didn't, it was a little bit of a surprise to me, but a happy surprise that Wendy is Spanish speaking. And you'll see her on our annual meeting agenda talking about sharing Spanish training for naturalists, or Spanish for naturalists. So providing a training on that. So I'm really excited about that. I'm happy to have Wendy on as part of my team. She's been the most excellent addition already, a great counterpart and cohort with Craig. So be looking for more great things to come out of this Texas Nature Checkers team. And more importantly, I'm announcing Wendy today because she told me I'm ready to get started training and providing training sessions for Master Naturalists. So welcome, Wendy. She's based out of Austin. Her job focus is the northern half of Texas. And like I said, she's ready to assist Master Naturalist chapters to get their fall training class needs covering citizen and community science. Anything you'd like to say, Wendy?
Thank you, Michelle. I'm really excited to get started. I'm really excited to get to know all of you and work with your Master Naturalist chapters. I'm excited to host programs, classes, bio blitzes, field experiences, and I hope to see all of y'all at the annual meeting.
Awesome. Okay, so speaking of annual meeting, I'm going to roll into it. And we've added quite a bit here about the annual meeting. Michelle, cut me off when you've got something to add in here. So all things. So our office is completely ramped up into annual meeting season at this point. And y'all, I say this every year, but I really do feel like this year is going to be the best meeting ever because we have some really incredible speakers lined up, field sessions lined up. The corner of the world that we're going to in McAllen is just amazing. And it's really diverse in the amount of speakers and variety in topics, but then also variety of locations that we'll get to go and visit. So working from the timeline forward, we're in July, which is when the kind of heavy annual meeting season starts. We will have an agenda preview launching late this week, early next week, probably more early next week. We have a really good agenda of classroom sessions and field sessions pulled together. We're doing the last minute checks on all of that, and then we'll put that out on the listserv and on our website and social media early next week. Then after that, we run into registration. So I like to release the agenda at least a month in advance before we release registration, so that it gives you time as you and your members time to review it, get to familiar with which sessions you want to sign up for, especially those sessions that might have a limit, like some of our field sessions. So we'll launch registration in August. We will have both early and standard registration again this year, with early registration and the discount ending August 31st, and then late or standard registration ending September 29th. And then in the middle of September, this is a little bit different. This is a new date this year for us. All of our contests are closing mid-September this year, and that's simply bumped up because of the earlier nature of this year's meeting. So we'll be talking about those contests in depth here in just a second, but that is something to be aware of, is that deadline has moved up. And then August 3rd is our TMN Tuesday Chapter Project Fair presentation as well. Okay, so talking about the agenda just a little bit and our plans for the meeting. We will have a longer day Thursday this year and possibly on Sunday as well. So we do want to encourage you to think about coming early and staying late, especially with knowing that this is a long distance or a destination meeting, like a destination wedding for many. We want you to make a trip out of this. Two things to note, and I don't know why the arrow did that, but our chapter leadership luncheon is actually being moved down. We heard your requests. You guys said we want to make sure that we can still go to field trips and go to the chapter leadership event. So we're moving that chapter leadership down to like a chapter leadership reception. We'll have it as a standalone event on Thursday afternoon at about 4:30, I believe. So you'll still be able to go to field sessions Thursday morning. The other thing that's changed on this agenda that you've seen so far is that we also heard from many folks that they are going to want to get on the road fairly quickly on Sunday to get back. So we have moved the concurrent sessions, removed the concurrent sessions on Sunday, and we were able to get all of the sessions in on Thursday and Friday. So we'll have concurrent sessions starting at 1 o'clock on Thursday through that afternoon, evening, and then we'll have concurrent sessions all day Friday. Saturday is still our offsite conference location eclipse viewing event. And then Sunday we'll have our contest awards brunch, and then feed you and get you on your way to back home. Michelle, did I miss anything on that quick summary of that? Okay. So wanting to dive into the agenda preview a little bit more, Michelle and I looked at the concurrent sessions that we had put together, and we themed them into rooms. So you'll see that on Thursday, we have rooms that cover this variety of themes, and Friday an additional or a different variety of themes. We've tried to track them out. which is so hard to do because there's so diverse of topics, and so many different speakers coming. So we tried to make sure that we had a little bit of everything, and y'all, we have a little bit of everything on this year's agenda. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a preview of some of the topics that we'll be having on Thursday and Friday at the concurrent sessions.
It was actually enough of a little bit of everything to be able to do themes like this time.
Yeah,
We've never, like, it's just never worked out like that before. And then this year it just really did. So it's cool.
it is. It's going to be fun. So this will be on the website along with that full agenda that we're talking about early next week as well. Some more highlights off of the agenda. These are things that Michelle and I are excited about, and things that we want to let you know that we've added to the agenda. You've asked for them. We've added them to the agenda. We've had many Master Naturalists ask for roundtable sessions for junior Master Naturalist or youth programming, asked for a new training class directors roundtable. We'll be hosting both of those. And so please encourage those folks in your chapters that have that interest, that have that role within your chapter, to add that to their list on their agenda to go to. You guys also asked for some grant writing help. And so we have a group that's going to come in and do a session on conservation grant writing one day for an hour and provide some resources and tools for you guys to use. So we're excited about that one. Texas Waters Day is going to be within the concurrent session list. That was a request to make sure that that session doesn't interfere with field sessions. So Melissa's put that into the concurrent sessions timeline. We also have some really cool ocelot presentations, something that I'm personally excited about. Some researchers are going to come and talk about some of the South Texas conservation issues, specifically with ocelots in mind. We have 20 plus field sessions on the agenda so far, and they're looking really good. They start all the way on Wednesday and they go through Sunday. So we do have 3 pre-event field sessions on Wednesday. So if you are wanting to come in early and get to all the things, we'll have some of these field sessions on Wednesday starting, I think the first one's Wednesday morning. And so that'll be highlighted in that agenda that we put out early next week as well. We have a lot of coastal ecology, a lot of birds of the valley presentations, mothing mania. Y'all, we had like 10,000 mothing field sessions submitted by Sam. He just kept pressing copy, paste, copy, paste. But there's mothing every single night, plus bats. So we're going to have a bat presentation as well one of the nights. Hopefully they cooperate. We have some historical sites. That's new, talking about the naturalist archaeology in the area and the combination of conservation and archaeology. And then a thorn scrubbed tour by U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So a huge variety of topics, some really cool presentations. We've really tried to, again, make sure that we've met your requests for this year's annual meeting agenda. It's going to be fun. Did I miss anything, Michelle? Okay. The kitchen sink. Okay, so now you're excited. Now you want to go. And I told you that we're going to have the full agenda next week. When can I sign up? So we talked about registration opening. It will open the first week of August. It may not be exactly August 1st, but it will be that first week of August. We will have early registration pricing from that first week through the end of August, and then we'll have standard registration for the month of September 1st through the 29th. Michelle and I are finalizing registration prices. We are pinching every penny possible to make sure that this meeting stays affordable. Knowing that it's at a distance, we want to make sure that we are offering this meeting at a cost that meets current food prices. Have gone up, but make sure that we've met everything else that we can do. And we've done everything else that we can do to make sure that we're keeping our registration prices reasonable for y'all. We are hoping to have those final prices ready to release early next week with that agenda as well. And then we've gotten a lot of questions about virtual registration. To be honest, with virtual meetings and virtual registration, our focus is on making sure that the content stays stays focused on, that we provide the best instructional habitat for our master naturalists. So Michelle and I are focused on the classroom and the field sessions first, getting that agenda, getting registration put together, and then we will shift our focus into the possibility of virtual registration later in August. So there is no guarantee on virtual registration at this point, but we want to make sure that we get the meeting right first, and then if we can host virtual registration, we will. If we are able to host virtual registration, it will probably only be the keynote presentations and the contest award and the annual award presentations. And that's, again, just because those are already formatted for large audience viewing. Not all of our classroom sessions are formatted for large audience viewing or for virtual formats. So if your members ask, let them know that we are still looking into it. It won't be until later in August that we have more information on virtual registration possibilities. But if we do, it will be limited. It will be in that keynote and contest awards focus. Michelle, did I get that right? Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going unless you stop me on all things. So lodging. So now that you're registered, now that you're excited about the agenda, you need a place to sleep because it's going to be a very long week for everybody. Sam, especially with all the mothing until midnight. Where are you going to sleep? So we have 5 hotels booked right now. I've heard a lot of chatter about the hotels being full. The hotels are not full. The shoulder dates are full. So we've had so much excitement from master naturalists wanting to book early and late dates. So if you just click on the website to open up a hotel, it's going to tell you that it's full, but it's full because that Tuesday or Wednesday night is full or that Sunday night is full, not the main meeting day nights.
It's full at that rate, at the special rate, correct?
Exactly.
So they could still register Wednesdays and the shoulder days at maybe a higher rate because we've sold out of the contract block.
Yes. So the best thing to do is actually to call the hotel if you get one of those error messages. Call the hotel, say, I want to book the rate for the main days of the conference, but I'll take, the other rates for the shoulder dates if you're wanting to come in early or late. Michelle and I actually have a meeting later this afternoon with the hotels to try and clarify the language, and we'll add some verbiage to our website to make sure that that's clear to y'all on what those availabilities are. So get your hotel room now. Make sure that your members have their hotel room as well. And on the hotel rooms, those are not the only 5 hotel rooms in the area. Those are the ones that we were able to get the discounted rate on. There's 3 or 4 others in that direct area that still have fairly reasonable hotel rates. So if you're wanting to stay close by and you've missed out on some of those shoulder dates and you want to travel for the whole week, check out some of those other hotels as well.
One word of caution is I would make sure if you do check into other hotels, make sure that they have breakfast or that you make arrangements for breakfast, because the hotels that we contracted with all do have a hot breakfast. We were not providing breakfast as part of the conference.
Great addition. Thank you, Michelle. And like I said, we're meeting with the hotels shortly, and we'll have some updated verbiage on the website once we do. Okay, so transportation. So you're registered for the meeting. How are you going to get there? We had a great discussion on our social media channels last week on how our master naturalists are going to get to the meeting, and that spurred some thoughts that Michelle and I are going to look into the possibility of opening up a discussion board to allow attendees to connect for ride sharing. This would be a completely self-service based discussion board where we would turn this discussion board on. You could go in and chat with your fellow master naturalist attending the conference and then connect on your own for that ride sharing. We're also going to be doing this for the field sessions as well, because we're not able to offer field session transportation or group transportation for field sessions this year. We'll do that same method of discussion boards for field session ride shares or meetups. We wanted to give you the update on this because there was a lot of that discussion happening late last week on social media channels. So we are looking into this and hope to have an update after we launch registration in August. Some more to come on transportation. Okay, Michelle, do you want to do contests?
Sure. Sorry. So if you've been around for a while, every year around the annual meeting and during the annual meeting, we make several announcements on different contests and awards that we have open, and people can be nominated for or apply for throughout the course of the year. Typically, our contests and awards open in the summer, which these awards just all have opened. The pre-annual meeting entries, everything is due. Everything has one due date this year to avoid confusion. Everything is due by 5 p.m. Friday, September 15th. And that'll be for all of the contests that are open now. That includes chapter advisor awards, chapter project fair, and then the video contest. And let's see, you had detailed on each one after this, right? So I don't have to go into them now. Okay, go back one slide, if you would. Thank you. And then the other contest that we have, and this contest takes place at the annual meeting, kind of during the annual meeting, is our photo art and media contest. That will be opening soon. This year, we'd like to thank the Rio Grande Valley and South Texas border chapters for hosting that contest. Give them a pre-thank you. Their work has only just begun. Our entries will be submitted online between the dates of August 15th and September 15th. And note that photos and media can be taken anywhere in Texas and within the current year, this year, 2023. And then another frequently asked question we get about the photo art and media contest is it just for people attending the annual meeting? And no, any master naturalist, this is a master naturalist photo art and media contest. So any master naturalist can submit their items to the photo art and media contest, whether they are attending the meeting or not. Okay.
But voting will be limited to those attending the meeting. Simply because we do the voting through the meeting app.
Okay, I mentioned the 3 awards that are open now and due by September 15th. One of those awards is the Chapter Advisor Award. Chapters can nominate a single advisor or a team of advisors. And I'd like to encourage every one of your chapters to submit an advisor that you feel is an advisor or team of advisors that you feel is worthy of the recognition of being the advisor of the year, team of the year. The goal of this is to encourage and recognize the exceptional work of our chapter advisors, either as an individual in the individual category or in the team category. So please be thinking about which of your advisors or team of advisors you would like to nominate for this award. And let us know if you have any questions. The application process is short. We've kept that short purposely. I think it's tops 1 page. 1 page with an attachment of a picture and any other supporting information you'd like to provide. The next thing is our chapter project fair. Another contest. So this happens to be a virtual type of contest. In the past, we've had kind of science fair style where chapters would put up display boards of a chapter project that they'd like to compete in the competition, and things were judged during the annual meeting. During the pandemic, we had to adjust a little bit. And that's actually how we've adjusted business going forward. We ask our chapters to submit, to enter the contest. All you have to do is submit a short paragraph about your project, and the instructions of how and where to do that are on our website. But to enter, submit a short paragraph, and after that, your chapter would present, let's see, October 3rd, you would present your chapter project during a 15 to 20 minute presentation. And it's actually our October TMN Tuesday event. So in October, the TMN Tuesday event, you'll get to learn about all of these projects that have been submitted to the project fair, and see what other chapters are doing and maybe how it could be replicated and new ideas can be implemented. Their ideas can be implemented in your local chapter. And the awards for this is a small grant to your chapter to continue their project, or start up a new chapter project of some kind. So there's money involved. And then there's our chapter video contest. Our video contest is, we use, hopefully your chapters are using video and some content in social media and to help tell the story about your chapter and what you do, and to help recruit. And so to encourage that, we have our video contest that was started several years ago. Please aim for your videos to be between 1 and maybe 3 minutes long. And entries can focus on what it means to be a master naturalist. It can focus on a chapter project, but if it does focus on a chapter project, keep in mind it's not the same. It doesn't compete in the same. It's two different awards. So if your video is on a chapter project, maybe before and after a chapter event or partnership effort, and then also new this year, a little added category we have for the chapter video contest is celebrating an anniversary, either the program's total 25th anniversary this year, or your chapter's individual anniversary, ranging from the 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 anniversaries. So we hope you'll consider entering something, and let us know if you have any questions. And then the last contest to talk about, which this one has a little bit of a different entry dates. Photo art and media contest will be coming soon. This one doesn't open until August 15th, whereas all the others are already open and accepting applications and nominations. The photo art and media contest, since it's part of the annual meeting, we launched that a little closer to the annual meeting. So your chapters, our members have about a month to enter their photos, but you can be communicating this now so that they can get their photos ready, be sifting through some of those and get ready to submit in between that time frame of August 15th and September 15th. We've added some categories this year to the photo art media contest. Photos include plants and fungi, wildlife, birds, wildlife insects and arachnids, wildlife reptiles and amphibians, and then wildlife other. We also have our normal chapters at work and play, scenic, macro photography, and digitally enhanced photos. The macro photography is the new category this year. In art, we have paintings or drawings, sculptures, carvings, and ceramics. They all compete in one category together, and then sewing or stitchery. And then the other categories is for chapters would be, you could enter your chapter newsletter, your chapter scrapbook, or your chapter brochure to compete for a ribbon in those categories.
And we'll have more information with the rules for the photo art and media contest before the August 15th open day, so that y'all can review those rules before the submission timeframe opens.
Okay, I mentioned the past couple months that we were looking for the Master Naturalist shirts off your back. if during our 20th anniversary, we had this quilt that you see on the right hand side of the screen that was made for using all of our commemorative or t-shirts that chapter submitted to be put into this quilt. And it was auctioned off as an auction item. It did exceptionally well as an auction item at the 20th anniversary. And we're looking to do another one for the 25th anniversary. So several of your chapters and your members have sent t-shirts, and some have sent some quilt material to go with it. And please continue to do so. I'm asking to receive your submissions for this by August 15th so that we can give enough time to have the quilt made and ready for the annual meeting.
Okay, and then I'll do sponsorships in the next couple slides as well. We are still seeking sponsorships for the annual meeting. This helps us to keep our meeting costs reasonable, and it helps to cover those additional items that we like to host at the annual meeting, like additional coffee or campfires, things like that. We've had many chapters already provide a sponsorship, so we want to say thank you for doing that. And thank you to our current sponsors list, knowing that we are just getting started with this list. So if your chapter is interested in being a sponsor for this year's meeting, please let us know. We'd be happy to provide some information on how to be a listed sponsor. Really appreciate that. And HEB is a sponsor for our meeting this year, which is wonderful. Another opportunity to get involved with this year's meeting is to be a vendor. Our South Texas Border and Rio Grande Valley chapter are also hosting the vendor search right now. So if there are naturalist booths, artists, goods, services, organizations that you think should be represented at this year's annual meeting with a vendor booth, please let us know, forward their information to us, and I'll share that with those chapters chairs that are hosting that for us. We are keeping that vendor cost nominal in order to encourage folks to come and share their goods and services with you as attendees. So we'll have those vendor booths open throughout the weekend from Thursday through Sunday. And we've got the space for it this year too. There's a huge exhibit hall in the McAllen Convention Center. So bring on the vendors. That'll be a lot of fun to have. I know that the annual meeting stuff just seem to be going and going. I promise there's only like 3 or 4 more slides on the annual meeting, and then that's it. But this is, like I said, our last big meeting with y'all before we get to launching registration and before we're in the middle of event registration season. So some other questions that have been asked are we going to be able to host the bulk curriculum orders again this year? Yes, we've confirmed that with A&M Press. They're going to both be a vendor and they're going to host this bulk curriculum order. And so if this is your first time as a chapter president hearing that, what they've done in the past is they will send out in August an order form that you will fill out, or your new training class director, whoever orders that curriculum, will fill out. And I will bring the books to the meeting for them. So you don't have to pay for shipping. Shipping on these 6-pound books is expensive. So this is a way to physically pick them up and get them from the meeting. We'll send that order form out in August. The deadline will be at the end of September. And then you'll just need to designate on that order form who is going to be picking them up at the annual meeting. And do keep in mind that they are heavy, and that they'll need some room in their car to bring them back home to y'all. So more information coming on that. We're also going to be hosting a pop-up store for the annual meeting. This is another request that we've heard from many folks after our last pop-up store. We put out some new t-shirts, we put out some stickers, we put out some new gear with our 25th anniversary logo on it. So we'll have a pop-up store in mid-August for regular Master Naturalist logo items like this shirt, the soft shell jackets that were really popular last year, the polos that are always real popular. We'll also have some specialty items with the 25th anniversary logo. That's the logo that has all the critters on, or the state of Texas that has all the critters on it, and our annual meeting logo that you can see in the bottom corner there. So we'll have some items in there as well. Like I said, we're planning to open it mid-August. It's a quick close, and then you should have it in your house before you leave for McAllen. That way you can wash it and pack it into your suitcase and bring it down to the valley with you to show off. I do see some stuff going on with chat. We would love to see some, I'd love to have some feedback on some items for this logo store. It is not, I've said this before, it's not my specialty to pick out the hot and upcoming style options. I'm a t-shirts kind of person, so if y'all have better ideas on items that you want to see the logos on or colors, please put those in the chat or email those to me, and we'll see what's available. Stock has always been a little bit of an issue, especially in this season, but please share those with us. I'd appreciate it. Okay, I promise only a few more annual meeting things. But this is the good stuff. This is where you get stuff. We just talked about the store that you get stuff. This is the silent auction where you get stuff. Our Two Valley chapters are also hosting this. They are busy. They're doing everything. So they are going to be asking for donations from chapters for our silent auction. We'll have that letter out to y'all within the next couple of weeks, asking for any donations for the silent auction. As a reminder, our silent auction is a way for us to provide travel grants for the following year's annual meeting. So last year's silent auction success was helped us to provide travel grants for chapters and for speakers for this year's annual meeting. So it helps to promote for the following year's event. They'll have item drop off on Thursday and Friday. The auction will be open through Saturday, and there will be more information on the silent auction within the coming weeks as well. Michelle, did I miss anything in chat? Those dates are not correct. Sharon, that's a copy paste from old. I'll make sure that I update that.
There's a question about the eclipse glasses.
Yeah, in chat.
What do you want me to say, Michelle?
Whatever you want to say.
Okay.
We'll have them.
We'll have them. Dang it, where'd they go? I have them. I can show them off. They're right here somewhere. We will have eclipse glasses for the annual meeting. Y'all can't tell anybody else about these, but they're right here, and we're gonna look so cool.
Other than we're recording, and this will be available.
It's okay. It'll be fine. So yes, and I saw some ideas coming in for the store, so thank you guys for that. It's a good question. Okay, Michelle, is that it on annual meeting? That was the kitchen sink on all things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you want to cover this?
Just so another reminder that we try to get all of our information to answer your questions on the state website. So please try to use and try to help if you could help us and communicate with your chapters and your membership, that we try to get all the answers on our website. Hopefully it's a one-stop shop for you and your members. If there's a question that we've received, we've tried to put it in our FAQs. We just talked this morning about, in our team meeting this morning, about what we need to update in those FAQs. Some of the frequently asked questions we've been getting a lot. So we're constantly updating this and constantly trying to keep the most up-to-date information on all things happening and put that on our website. First, check the website. Next, we have the Naturalist News that is also linked on our website, and our events calendar. So all of our events are added to the calendar. I think, can chapters still add events to the calendar?
Yes. Yep.
But just know that this is just a calendar of information, like nothing there is reviewed and approved as advanced training. Chapters still need to do that locally, because this is just a resource calendar. It doesn't mean because it's listed on the calendar doesn't mean it's automatically approved or it's been vetted and approved for by our state office or by any chapter locally. So you still need to do that at your local chapter locally. We also have our Master Naturalist listserv, kind of old technology there, but our members still use it and still love it. So anyone can sign up for the listserv. It's not just for Master Naturalists. There is information of how to do that on our website under the chapter and member resources.
And being signed up for the listserv will ensure that you get the first email wave when we open registration, when we launch the agenda. All of that will be posted through that listserv as well.
Okay, I have a update on pins. One of them is not fun or great. It's a little bit of a Debbie Downer. Just a reminder, we've had some chapters kind of still sending us emails directly to order pins. And unfortunately, we just get so much email that gets lost in our accounts, in our inboxes. And so what we're trying to do is get all of our chapters ordering their pins through the website. And this is an effort we've been trying to do for the past year. I know it takes a big path of water to turn a boat. But if you could have your members and the people that kind of manage the pins and certificates do that through the online process, and the link there, I think it's been dropped in the chat already. But order your stuff there. Again, we send those out monthly. So recertification and milestone pins are sent out monthly. We try to do it at the end of the month, or so let's say like our ordering date, pretend it closes on the 30th, then we'll try, or the last day of the month, we'll try to get them out the first of the month following. Just a note coming up, summer, for your ordering purposes, summer is high vacation time for families and some of our staff. And so just there are some of our staff helping with this process do have vacations coming up. So there might be a little bit of lag or delay because of those planned vacations. Or you might get things a little early because that those individuals are trying to get stuff out before they go on vacation. The only exception for kind of the mail outs is towards August, September timeframe. Anything that is collected, or we might even do a special order process for pins and certificates to be delivered to your chapter at the annual meeting. So doing that gives us an opportunity to save on a bunch of costs, save on shipping and delays. So we try to capitalize on us all being together at the annual meeting and getting you those care packages then. Now the Debbie Downer of the update on the pins. So the 4,000, actually it's just the Presidential Volunteer Service Awards. So the 4,000 hour Master Naturalist pin, those, we have those in stock. I can send those to you as each month. The Presidential Volunteer Service Award pins, certificates, and letter that goes with that Master Naturalist 4,000 hour award. The PVSA pins are on back order. There's no ETA on when they will be restocked. And this includes, I sent in a order for April, and even though my order processed, it got caught up in the back order. So everything that's been ordered April going forward is all caught up in this back order. So as soon as I have more information on when everything will be fulfilled or back in stock, we'll get those out. But just know that we do have the Master Naturalist 4,000 hour pins, and I can get those out to you within a month of their request.
Michelle, Craig wants to remind you about the new certification letters.
Yes, so certificates, the certificates have all been updated. The certification certificates, which has always been a weird name to me, but that's what they are. They've all been updated with the new executive director for both Extension and Parks and Wildlife, and their signatures are on them now. So everything's been updated and restocked.
Okay, some more statewide resources and tools and trainings. Our WordPress web accessibility training is happening on the first Tuesdays of the month. They have asked that we skip July's just because it does fall on 4th of July. And then we mentioned all the staff vacations that typically happen in July as well. So our next WordPress web accessibility training is August 1st at 12 o'clock. This is linked on our state calendar, so you can check there for the direct link, or you can take a quick screenshot of this link, but that is the short link that'll get you to that Google Meet training event. Our meeting owls are also still available. These are tools and resources that were in high demand during our heavy virtual season of the Master Naturalist program. I still have some of these available if you are interested in using the meeting owls for virtual events or for virtual meetings. Please reach out to us using that form that's on our website. You can search the word owl on our website, and these will pop up pretty quickly. I'll also grab that link and drop it in the chat as well.
Yeah, Mary Pearl mentioned using the search on the website. I use that all the time to get to what I'm looking for. So that search is very powerful. If you can't find, or it's not like intuitive of where something is on the website, use that search because it works.
Absolutely. So some more resources, our merchandise. We talked about the pop-up store. We are going to be hosting that. I said late July, it'll actually be August, in order to make sure that we get you guys those resources before the annual meeting. I just did a full restock of our AgriLife Learn warehouse. So we have Columbia shirts, lanyards, tablecloths were highly requested. So all of that stuff is back in stock at the AgriLife bookstore or warehouse now. And then license plates are always available. And so our license plates are proudly shown on the front page of our website. And that's where you can find how to order your personalized or your unpersonalized license plate, and so show your support for the Master Naturalist program on your motorcycle, your RV, your car, your truck, your trailer, whatever it may be that you've got wheels on. And then last but not least, another way to continue to show your support for the Master Naturalist program is through our endowment. This is the program that we're using. This is the opportunity to set a perpetual funding stream in place for the Master Naturalist program for the benefit of the future of the Master Naturalist program. And if you've got questions on the endowment, please feel free to ask. Okay, so running through those last couple of slides quickly, just because I did notice that we're closing in on that 1 o'clock hour. As always, here is our calendar check. I did not update those dates. I apologize. Our July WordPress training was canceled. Our July TMN Tuesday is the 11th, and our president's meeting is that same day, so July 11th as well.
It's not two different meetings. It's a crossover meeting.
Same meeting.
So
yes.
Same meeting. So, and real quick, before we jump to the next slide, one thing I failed to mention when I talked about the awards and nominations and application process, if you are a chapter or if your chapter does not plan on submitting a video or a chapter project fair entry or an advisor application, we need volunteers, Master Naturalist volunteers, to assist on the committees that review those applications. So if you have an interest in doing that or know of a member who does, please go ahead and send me a note because we do need review committee members for each of those processes. And then on this slide, I've been remiss, we've been remiss in sharing some accolades and some fun things about chapters. I've been trying to get caught up in email and came across some things. We've been sharing a lot of your special accomplishments as chapters through social media. There's some we may have missed. And so a couple of shout outs I want to give here. Our Hill Country chapter, back when several of our other chapters were getting co-op grants, our Hill Country chapter was also in a party to a co-op grant. The co-op grant actually went to I think it's Roberts Ranch, a YMCA project within the Hill Country chapters area. And the project utilizes master naturalists, the Hill Country master naturalists support that project. So a big shout out to the Hill Country chapter there. Our Blue Stem chapter, we did share some of the information on their conservation day and the impacts that they had earlier over social media. But the really cool thing I wanted to show everybody and all of your leadership, all of our leaders on this, on the Blue Stem chapter's conservation day, is look at these impacts on that flyer they have. They did a pre and post test with all of the school children that came through the event that they did. And it's too small for me to see and shout out some of these metrics right now. But this is great. This is great storytelling on your projects right here. So, and talking about impacts that you've done as a chapter and your projects have done. So this is a great example. And I wanted to share that and point it out for our other chapter leaders online. And then lastly, the other shout out that we kind of missed, or I think may have missed, was our Balcones Canyonlands chapter. They received the Whole Foods Market Community Giving Project, which was a grant for $5,000. And the Community Giving Project will support their pollinator garden grant, which is going to, they're implementing pollinator gardens in historically underserved communities or parks within and around Austin and the metro area. So congratulations to not only these chapters that you see the names on the screen, but all of our chapters who have had some great accomplishments and great wins over the past 6 months of this year so far. So thank you all.
And please continue to send those to us so that we can promote those on social media. We can share them with our program agencies and with you guys as well. Okay, Michelle, I think we're wrapping up and we're a little over the hour mark. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, we've covered this one before. Really, we've covered a lot of it already. I'm hesitant to ask for questions because we've held you over that 1 hour mark already. But if you have a burning question, let's go ahead and hear it. And give you maybe 2 minutes to get that out. Okay, so there's a question in the chat asking of others, how large typically are training classes? And so Sharon, that might be a little bit a different question from how like an effective number in a training class versus how large. So
and it also would vary based off of the size of the chapter and the size of the facilities that chapter can use. I think that's a great discussion question to put into the new training class roundtable that we'll have at the annual meeting as well.
Yeah, and typically over the past, I guess, 24 years I've been doing this, most chapters settle on the fact that a 25 is a sweet spot. So for training classes, like everybody's able to hear, you're able to crowd control on sessions in the field, and everybody's included. So keep that in mind as well. So, but we've seen classes be larger and we've seen classes be much smaller too. So.
Great question. Are there any other questions?
So lots of great chatter about class sizes in the chat. So thanks everyone. Okay, one other question. Have a member that wants to start a project in a different county, but it's not our chapter. So I'm assuming it's outside of your chapter. I don't want to step on another chapter's thoughts. So Sharon, please let me know if I'm summarizing your question correctly and my understanding of it. So you have a member who wants to start a project in a different county, and it's a different chapter's area already. Is it a project that the other chapter is already working on? Is it like the same project where okay, so I would, since it's a project that the chapter is already working on, I'd suggest that no, they are not. Okay. So I would say that's a great area for collaboration. Like if it's in a chapter, another chapter's area in it, but it's still in the same ecoregion, that's a great project to collaborate on with other chapter.
Yeah, my first phone call would be to that other chapter's president, that other chapter's leadership, and open that discussion up as a possibility.
Let's see. And then Kathy mentions another chapter started working at a park in their area or region. They had no notice. It would have been nice to know ahead of time. So I want to reiterate this again. We always like to see our chapters collaborate. Even though you have an area that you've named for your chapters, we promote collaboration rather being territorial. So, but yes, it's just good practice to communicate with each other in where you're in close proximity together.
Great. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you guys much more than an hour. We'll make sure that we get this recording up and the notes up and the slides up on our website within the next couple of hours, if not first thing tomorrow morning. Excited to have y'all on the July TMN Tuesday joint presidents meeting, July 11th. So lots of things happening in the next couple of weeks.